Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all my students ICT 500. So we will continue our lesson with critical thinking tools and methods part 2. So last class we have learned about 3 tools and methods for creating critical thinking. So we will continue with the other 2 tools and methods that you can use in order for you to create critical thinking. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe type of critical thinking tools and method, and you can use that tools in identifying the problems. So method number 4, that is important in critical thinking, which is observation. So now let us look what is observation and how you can use observation in creating critical thinking. So observation class is basically a data collection strategy involving the systematic collection and examination of verbal and non-verbal behaviors as they occur in a variety of contexts. So we have critical observation, which is the ability to notice subtle details that allow us to maneuver situations more tactfully. So we have 2 types of critical observation, which is you observe people or you observe processes. And then we have 2 ways of observation. Either you want to have observation in person, which is participant observation or non-participant observation, and also using the video recording. So what is the difference between critical thinking and critical observation? So critical thinking involves skills that allow a person to analyze facts and information to reach some decision or conclusion. For the observation, it is involved skills in reading a person, processes or situation to get new information. So people who are good at critical observation often notice things that other people might miss. So basically observation, we are using our eyes to see something and then to interpret or analyze. Alright, so we look at the observation methods that we can have. So you can have control, naturalistic, participant, non-participant. So control, basically you will use lab, and then it is structured. So you have something that you have organized or planned, to observe. So tools that you can use is checklist, survey, coding sheet. Example of control observation, which is you want to control the attendance of the class. You want to observe students' participation during the class session. So you can use, for example, checklist, to record the student participation. And then naturalistic is actually unstructured. So normally you want to observe natural environment. Let's say you want to observe about Taman Negara, national park environment. You want to see how the all the creatures inside the Taman Negara talk each other or communicate each other. So tools that you can use to record the observation using video or camera or any tools that can capture the moments of the environment. For participant, which is non-participant, which is unstructured. And then it is also the natural environment. You want to have observation on natural environment. And then for participant, of course, it involves participants. For example, you want to observe characteristic of autism. children. So you will have the participant or non-participant. It can be either one. To see the how the children communicate, how the children behaviors. So this is the methods of observation that you can choose for your assignments or for any critical thinking activities. And then we have type of observation which is quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative is basically about something you can means that you can count or you can measures. So normally observation are in numerical measurements. For example, the mass of a ball is 600 gram. So means that you can measure the weight of the ball, or you can count how many people, you can count the population. So that is, we call that as quantitative. So tool that you can use, checklist, coding sheet. And then you can also have the qualitative observation, which is using descriptions based on senses, based on justification from the researcher or the observer. For example, I want to have observed on the ball. So you can say that the ball is round and red. So you will describe the features or the characteristic of the ball. And then tool that you can use is tape recorder, video camera, computer, notebook, pen, and so on. Next, we look at the participant observation. So basically, observation participant is involved the direct observation by the researcher and focus on the content as well as the behaviors of individuals to understand the meaning of certain behaviors or beliefs. So participant observation is a method of data collection in which the researcher takes part in every activities related to an area of social life in order to study an aspect of the life through the observation. And then it is normally this kind of observation normally is related to ethnography, which is to study the human social, to study the people culture. So example of participant observation, to study privacy in nursing home setting. So you need to have direct contact with the participant. So the participant role or degree involvement that researcher has with other in the setting may vary. Advantages of participant observation based on Boyd David 1999. So when we have participant accommodate on the set of the observation, so the presence of the researcher increasing the likelihood of the possibility of observation the phenomena of interest as it really occurs. So by the researcher has opportunity to interact with the participants. When we have the participant observation, so we can ask directly to clarify and extend observations. To get some more insight to understand. So from that you can understand the situation that you want to study more deep or clearly. Next we look at non-participant observation. So non-participant observation is actually related to it is of course a qualitative research strategy, and then for gathering primary data, some aspect of the social world without interacting directly with its participant. So it is contra with the participant. So it is not directly with the involvement of the participants. So the researcher focus primarily on the task of the observation, not on the participant. So in other situation, researcher may be more a participant than observer. So by taking on some of the roles and responsibilities of insiders in a research setting while observations are carried out. So video camera are used to capture the behavior interest. So advantages of non-participant, so you can record observation for detailed microanalysis. Okay, and then video recording is used in qualitative ethology, okay, for conversation analysis. So for example, video recording provide a rich data source for studying interaction patterns between healthcare providers and patients. So normally we choose this kind of observation when we cannot contact directly with the participants. Okay, when to use observation? Okay, why you choose that kind of method? Okay, so normally it is you can use observation method, okay, in your research or study, okay, when there are difficulties in obtaining relevant information through self-report or from the surveys, okay, or from other research method. So it is because subjects are unavailable to communicate. Okay, and then it is provide sufficient detailed information about complex interaction patterns. So observation, normally we want to see some patterns, so that's why we choose the observation. Okay, and then studying social phenomena about which little is known and where the behavior of interest is not readily available to public view. So normally this is why we choose the observation. Okay, and then when to use non-participant observation. So first, the researcher may have limited access, okay, or you don't have access to a particular group, okay, and then may not have the opportunity to engage, so you cannot have the participant, so we choose non-participant. So what kind of examples of observation that we cannot have the participant? Okay, for example, okay, you want to study the social behaviors of professional athletes, okay, on the field, so you don't want to disturb the athletes, and then that's why you don't need the participant presence. Okay, another example is you want to see how parents control the children in public setting, so you want to have a very natural situation, so you don't want to interfere the process, okay, or the environment. So that's why we choose non-participant observation. Okay, so in both cases, non-participant observers would take a position within a setting and record what they observe without interacting directly with participants. So second, okay, when to use non-participant observation? The research setting might be one in which participant observation could be dangerous or difficult. You want to do research on riots or mobs, okay, for example. So difficult because of their spontaneous nature. So that's why we use the participant observation. Okay, and then the researcher may be interested less in subjective experience dimension of social action and more in relief the patterns. Okay, so if you want to see the patterns, so you choose the non-participant observation. Okay, so observation challenges that we have in terms of the ethical issues. Okay, so you need to have the consent from the research participants. Okay, who is your respondent. Okay, and then observation method actually takes longer time. Okay, because you want to see a pattern, so you cannot have only 1 days. Okay, 1 week, 1 month. Sometimes it takes more than that. Okay. Okay, and then impact of observer on primary data. So the presence of observer may influence, okay, the behavior of sample group elements and pose negative implication on the level of research validity. So if you have participant observation, we choose that. So means that we have our presence is in the setting. Okay, so maybe the process of observation will be interrupt or influence. Okay. And then the limitation, okay, which is done limited and all data collected are limited to the study environment only on the certain case or setting that you set up. And observation changes, sometimes the result is unpredictable. Okay, and then high level of observed bias in some cases, the observer becomes so a cues down, okay, to his or her environment. And then qualitative nature of observation obtained by the researcher is often of a qualitative nature, converting qualitative data to quantitative ones. Okay, so analyze and using statistical methods are used issues that diminish, okay, the importance and value of qualitative information collected. So this is a very technical issue in the observation challenges. So this is the comparison, okay, of the four main types of observations, okay, that I got from papers. Okay, so you can see that okay, what is the differences, okay, between participant, okay, and then non-participant when you have direct or indirect contact. Okay, and then you can see when to use. Okay, so for example, participant, when to use participant when insider's point of view is important. Let's say you want to know about expert, okay, opinion, or you want to know about, you want to study on how the children become genius, okay, and then you want to study the characteristics, so you want to have participant involvement. You want to interview the participant, okay, and then for direct, okay, in-depth understanding of social, okay, group, okay, and then indirect useful when direct observation was not possible, okay, as it is almost similar to the non-participant. Okay. Okay, so what are the tools for observation? Okay, structured observation. So we have checklists, okay, and then we have AEIO framework, and we have ABC chart. So actually there are lots of tools for structured observation. Okay, for example, the checklist. Okay, what is the use of checklist? Encourage or verify that a number of specific lines of inquiry steps or action are be taken. Okay, so you want to have very systematic recorded, okay, using the form, and then you just check or you just tick, okay, what is the outcome or what is the result. Okay, and then AEIOU is activity, environment, interaction, object and user, template or framework. So it is a heuristic, okay, framework to help interpret observation gathered by ethnographic practice in industry. So its two primary functions are to code data and to develop building block of models that will ultimately address the objective and issues of a client. So you can try to go to this link, okay, and then look at the example of the AEIOU or the more explanation. Okay, and then we have the ABC chart. Okay, what is ABC? Antecedent, behavior, consequence. So it is actually the template also for same goes to the AEIOU. So you need to fill in, okay, what is antecedent, behavior and consequence for that situation. So this is we call the direct observation tool. Okay, can be used to collect information about the event that are occurring within a student's environment, for example. So A refers to the antecedent or the event, okay, or the activity that immediately precedes a problem behavior. So B is refer to the observed behavior, okay, and then C to refer to the consequence or the event that immediately follows a response. So you can go to this for the link and then look details on the explanation. So we will look at only in our syllabus, we will look only on these two, okay, checklist and also the AEIOU framework. Okay, so now this is example, okay, that we have the template. So the checklist, this is one of the example. So the checklist, you can have various kind of checklist template, right? Depends on the study or the case that you want to find out. Okay, and then AEIOU framework is you have the activities, environment, so you need to fill in what you need to answer the question. Okay, activities, what are the people doing, so put in the worksheet or the template. Okay, and then ABC form, okay, it is related to also for you to fill in, okay, antecedents, A, B, behavior, consequence, okay, in the form or in the chart. Okay, and then we have, this is example of the class attendance. Okay, this is one of the example of the checklist. Okay, so this is kind of a checklist where you want to have class attendance. You want to record, okay, students that present or absent. So in a 1 month, for example, okay, or for the whole semester. Okay, so this is the example of the checklist. Very common, right? Okay, and then this is example of checklist. Okay, to monitor the usage of mobile phone. Okay, so you also using the checklist, you normally tick off, you just tick or cross. Okay, so this we call the self-monitoring checklist. Okay, and then this is the fatal movement chart. Okay, so this one is for what? To count the movement of the fatal kick chart. Okay, so what is the purpose of this chart? Is to monitor the baby's health. Okay, so this is how it counts. Okay, so the movement count to 10. So the date, okay, the time, and then at what is the time, okay, the movement complete time. Okay, so this is all record. So what is the purpose of the checklist? Is actually to see the pattern, okay, in terms of the movement. For example, so if there is a problem with the pattern, so you can know that, okay, for example, if the movement is very slow or there is no movement, okay, so or there is lack of movement, so you can see from the chart. And then how to observe in a natural environment. Okay, so we have lots of tools. Okay, for example, you can use the participant observation or non-participant observation. So in our class, okay, we will use the AEI OU observation framework. So I believe that you have used that for your assignment 1. So activities is related to the what are people doing. Okay, environment is related to the how are people using the environment. Interaction, do you see any routines? Do you observe special interactions between peoples or objects? And then objects is related to what is there and being used or not used. Okay, and the users, who are the users? What are their roles? So this is kind of the observation using AEIOU framework. Okay, so now we look into detail of the AEIOU. So it is actually the coding structure. Okay, so normally used to organize data under the first section using activities, environment, interaction, object, and users. So the framework can be applied as is, or you can customize based on your creativity, as long as you have AEIOU in that framework. Okay. So what is AEIOU? So as I mentioned earlier, so A is stand for activities. So includes action with specific goals in mind. Okay, so what activities that you want to observe? So you mentioned, okay, or the process that you want to achieve. Okay, environment details the context, okay, and the characteristic of the space where activities are being observed. So what activities that you observe, and then what kind of environment that related to the activities. Okay, and then interactions include both interpersonal and person active interaction. Okay, and then you will see how the person or the process that you observe can interact with the environment. So object catalogs the items within the environment and how they are used. It is important to note both the central and peripheral uses of objects and how people harness them to conduct their activities. So for example, you have done your observation, okay, through social media. which is Instagram. So how the influencer, okay, and they interact with the environment based on the studies, based on the activities, and then what kind of objects that they are used, okay, for the active, especially in our syllabus we are relate object with the IT features, okay, in the social media. Okay, and then users includes the people within the environment that are being observed. Okay, for example, in the activities, okay, is there any person or users, okay, other than the influencer that you want to observe, okay. Okay, and then AIOU can be used in field as worksheets or be applied later to code data collected from other ethnographics or observational methods. Okay, so you can combine, okay, your worksheets, okay, AIOU template together with the photos, okay, interviews or other research method for in order for you to get a very good result, okay, for the observation. Okay, what are the advantages using the AIOU? So good for recording observations and small details. So if you look at the AIOU template, it is very detailed, right? So you can, it is suitable if you want to find very detailed result, okay, for your observation. So you can create a visual maps of activities and can assist in uncovering letter needs, okay, work around in unspoken behaviors. So when you have very detailed observation, so you can have or you will find results, okay, and then you can see the patterns, okay, from that. Okay, how about the disadvantages? Okay, so it is not good for recording macro level, okay, social, political or cultural condition. If you have a very wide or broad data, so it is not suitable for you to use the AIOU template. Okay, so you need to choose another observation method or other research method. So this is an example of AIOU that you can refer to have more understanding. Okay, for example, activities. What are people doing? So normally you want to answer this question. So example, okay, so the person is entering the cinema hall. Okay, search for your seat in cinema hall, be checking the ticket, climbing over the people to get to your seat, saving a seat for the person to arrive, exiting the cinema hall. Okay, environment, how the people using the environment. So full house cinema hall, example. Okay, dark with blue lights. So it is a situation in the cinema hall. And then we can see the shattering of people, exciting environment. Okay, people walking down aisles. So it is all about the observation. So you need to use your eyes to observe, and then you need to use your mind to interpret what kind of environment that you are looking at. Okay, and the interactions is, do you observe any special interactions? Okay, for example, you see the person-to-person interaction, person to the seat, okay, person to the with the employees of the cinema hall. Is there any communication or interaction? Okay, and then for the objects, okay, it is describe engagement with the object. So for example, rows of seat, okay, mobile flashlights, okay, booking apps, entry, exit, doors. Are there any workaround that can be identified? Okay, and then the last one is user. Who are the users you are observing? So what are their roles? Okay, fans of the movie, people dragged along by their friends, family outings, latecomers. So this is all the users that related to our activities or situation which is in the cinema hall. Okay, this is another one, okay, for you to get more insight. Okay, so this is also same as for example, okay, activity, okay, searching for a seat, okay, environment, busy lecture, okay, students people walking down the aisle, okay, interaction, person to the lecture hall, person to the person, okay, object, rows of seat, okay, desk, backpack, users, Okay, collect student, collect students who attend lecture, okay, those who want to pay attention. Okay, another example for AIOU, okay, for example, activities situation is playing soccer. So what kind of environment? It is outdoor. Okay, and then interaction. So they are trying to tackle the ball from each other. Okay, objects, soccer ball, dirty shoes, socks, dirty pants, sports attire. Okay, users, soccer players. Okay, so this is or maybe the audience, right? Okay, and then this is another example, AIOU. So the situation, activity cooking, okay, and then we have environment unclean and messy kitchens. Okay, interaction, put flammable things near the hot coals or fire. Okay, and then objects, okay, food scraps, stove oil, okay, and then user, homeowners, residents and friends. Okay, sleeping, messy dorms, okay, plug in phones and chargers overnight, okay, power strip, bedsheet, mattress, residents. Okay, smoking, enclosed spaces, dog outside, okay, people light fire to smoke, okay, lighter, tobacco, the object that you can use, okay, and then users is residents and friends. Okay, and then for the throwing of cash activities, so what happened in the environment, messy homes, okay, and what are interaction involved, person throws out hot oil and baking remains near flammable paper and cardboard. Okay, and then for the object, recyclables, okay, hot wood scraps, flammable trash, and users involved is residents and friends. Alright, so now we move to the method 5, evaluation. So what is evaluation? So evaluation is actually one of the systematic assessment, okay, of the design, implementation or result of an initiative for the purpose of learning or decision making. Okay, and then evaluation also an applied inquiry process for collecting and synthesizing evidence that culminates in conclusions about the state of affairs, okay, value, merit, worth, significance or quality of a program, product, person, policy, purpose or plan. So in our syllabus class, remember our focus is to evaluate an IT product solutions, okay, which is information technology or products or solutions. So now we look at the evaluation methods. Okay, so in this one we will focus on the user interfaces, okay, or we focus on the products or services. So we have 4, okay, basically we have lots, but I choose 4 evaluation methods. So you can have cognitive walkthrough, okay, heuristic evaluation, usability testing and user satisfaction. So cognitive walkthrough is actually the usability, okay, evaluation, okay, which is focused on understanding the system learnability for new or infrequent user. So focus on how easy it is for new user to accomplish tasks with the system. So if you design user interface, okay, you will look at the understanding of the user interface for the newcomers, okay, to view the or to use the system. Okay, heuristic evaluation is systematic inspection of a user interface designed by interface specialists to determine the usability based on their experience, guideline and standard. So process where experts, okay, use rules of thumb to measure usability of user interface in independent walkthroughs and report issues. Okay, and then our focus is usability testing and user satisfaction. So what is usability testing? Measure the usability of the interface of the product or processes. Okay, while user satisfaction is to make sure whether user satisfied with the design or the interface that you have or the functionality of the system or the process or the services. Okay, so we will go in depth for these two. Okay, so usability test, okay, is actually referring to the evaluating a product or services, okay, and then during the test process, okay, participants will try to complete typical tasks, okay, while watch, listen, and takes note. Okay, and then to run an effective usability test, you need to develop a solid test plan. You recruit participants and then analyze. Okay, so you can go to this link to get details of this explanation. So Nelson's believe that usability includes the following elements. Okay, so you need to have these elements for the usability. So easy to learn, okay, whether the product is easy to learn, okay, interactivity, efficiency, how efficient users use the product, okay, easy to remember behavior in terms of operation, okay, the frequency and severity of the error, so the frequency or the error, okay, and then the user satisfaction, okay, about the product. So benefit of usability testing, of course, okay, identify problems, okay, before they are coded. So the earlier issues are identified and fix, the less expensive, okay, the fix will be in terms of poor staff time, okay, possible impact to the schedule. So and then learn if participants are able to complete specified tasks successfully, okay, and then benefit identify how long it takes to complete specified tasks. Find out how satisfied participants are with your website or with your product. Okay, identify changes required to improve and analyze the performance to see if it meets your usability objective. Okay, so now we look at the electronic service. So what is electronic service? Basically, it is we call also that questionnaire, online questionnaires. Okay, so it is appears, okay, your service or your questionnaires appears on the computer screen. Okay, and then of course, okay, if you are talking about electronic service, it is online. So of course, it is using the internet. Okay, or so we're using the web-based form. Okay, and then web survey is designed to accommodate any range of item types. Okay, so you can use any kind of questions. Okay, for example, you can use yes, true, false. Okay, multiple choice, ranking, skill response options, open-ended question, and so on. Okay, and then it will use a button, okay, to submit the result from the respondent. So the raw data are loaded into the active into the server. Okay, and then you will use this analysis software to analyze the data. So the advantages of using electronic survey, of course, include ease of survey editing and analysis, okay, faster transmission and response time, and then higher response rates. Okay, so electronic surveys actually very famous nowadays, okay, especially during COVID, okay, because we cannot have physical or you need to reduce the physical contact, so that's why we are using the electronic survey. So normally we will distribute the survey through the emails. Okay. Okay, so now we look at the questionnaires. Okay, so in evaluation, okay, in our syllabus, okay, we will use questionnaires, okay, to get the data from the users. So questionnaires is actually one of the research instruments, okay, consisting of a series of questions for the purpose of gathering information from respondents. So it is invented by Statistical Society of London in 1838. Okay, very long time ago. So in our syllabus, okay, for the questionnaires, we will look at the perceived usability and also perceived user satisfaction. So what is system usability? So basically, we have system usability scale (SUS), so developed by John Brooke, 1986, okay, to measure and quantify the perception of usability by your user. Okay. So you can click this link and then to look at the detail of it. So this is example of the questionnaire. So basically we have 10 questions, okay, to measure the system usability, okay, and then or for usability evaluation. So for your assignments, okay, which is your group, so you will use this questionnaire to get the result. Okay, and then you look at the user satisfaction or perceived user satisfaction. So it is developed by Jim Lewis, okay, at IBM, so in the late 1980s. So the questionnaire that we are using is post-study usability questionnaire, okay, also called as CSUQ, okay. So this is 16 items survey, okay, that consists of 16 questions. Okay, for the perceived usability, just now we have only 10 item question. So measures this questionnaire, the SSUQ, measures users' perceived satisfaction with the product. Okay, to get some result related to the satisfaction of the users. Okay, so it is very effective at small sample size. So this is example of the survey. Example of the survey. So questionnaire to measure perceive. So we have 16 questions. Okay, so you will also use this question for the assignments or for the project. Okay, for your own exercise, okay, self reflection on what we have learned, okay, about method observation and also the evaluation. So you need to go to the UiTM Cawangan Johor website, okay, johor.uitm.edu.my, okay, and then you need to use the questionnaires to measure, okay, answer the question using the two surveys, okay, which is the SUS, okay, and then PSSUQ, okay, this one, okay, this one survey, and also okay, this survey, okay. So use these two survey, okay, for your exercise, okay, and then answer the question. Okay, your case study is your website. So we want to see in terms of usability for the website UiTM Johor, and also we want to see the usability or the satisfaction of the user towards the website UiTM Johor. Okay. Okay, and then okay, I want you to submit, okay, your result, okay, to me. Okay, I will give you the platform to submit later. Okay, so at the end of the exercise, so you need to answer this kind of question to get the results. Okay, what are the perceived usability towards the website UiTM Cawangan Johor? Okay, and then what are the perceived user satisfaction toward the website UiTM Cawangan Johor? Okay, and then why the result is why is it that you get the result? Okay, so I think that's all. So we have learned, okay, critical thinking tools and method part 2, so which is we cover observation and also the evaluation. So I hope you can get something, okay, knowledge and basic theory, okay, about these two critical thinking method. So with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.